need a job. I've got jobs, I have managers that run my organizations, but I feel a civic duty to run for county judge. Yes, I would resign. I've got my platform, and if I'm elected and I don't achieve that platform, I won't run again. My platform is simple: reduce the taxes. I know retired people I've known here for 35 years that come to me and say, Bart, I can't pay my taxes. And that's sad because they've been good, hard-working people all their life. Stop deficit spending, a $500,000 deficit budget, and we're not in trouble. And close to bankruptcy in another year and a half. I don't know if you realize the seriousness of that. I do. Improve the county roads and jail system. Why have they been neglected all these years? And it just keeps passing on and on and on. In open and responsive government, I don't think we've had that. And though it was only 750, 800 signatures, it was a real small amount of time, and you should have had the ability to vote on a $3.6 to $4 million annex, and you didn't get that opportunity.
Mr. Utley, thank you. Mr. Eccles, minute rebuttal.
I was just kind of thinking about Mr. Tennant. I don't think he wants to go where he's been. It clearly says in the Constitution that government derives their powers from the consent of the governed. When any government becomes destructive to that end, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish or institute a new government. Did you hear me? The Declaration of Independence clearly says government must have the consent of the people. Ours doesn't.
Mr. Eccles, thank you. Mr. Kendall, 1 minute.
Mr. Utley knows that even with the presentation of the petition, the law does not permit a vote as up or down on a building of this nature. You can't spend money to have an election to decide if you're going to build a building. That's what commissioners are up there for, to make that decision. The other thing I'd like to talk about is that, in fact, our county is not in the bad situation these people say we are. The budget that we had projected was an estimate. What I'm telling you, what we have in the bank at the time that September the 30th was over $3.2 million. And again, the reserves, this is just the general fund, road and bridge. We had another close to $1 million in reserve on other funds. The general reserve for the general fund has increased almost $2 million over the last 7 years. We are, yes, we're spending some of it on, we're going to spend some of it on this building, but again, this is infrastructure and for the future. Thank you.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're trying to keep on time. Ms. Shaw, your minute.
So when we sign contracts, does that mean we adhere to them? I mean, I'm just curious because we signed a contract with the builders and the architect. So what do we do to those contracts? Are those not legally binding? So let's not use that word contract loosely. Let's use it for what it's meant to be used for. I don't think we need to keep elaborating on that or going on that. I think that we just need to use words for what they're meant. Take them at face value. There's no need to interpret anything I say. It has no hidden meaning nor no hidden agenda. It's exactly what I said.
Ms. Shaw, thank you. Mr. Tennant, 1 minute.
Yes, briefly, if I might, just to respond to Mr. Eccles, who didn't want me to go somewhere. I think he did want me to go, but he didn't want me to go on his time. It's enlightening to be reminded of the words of the Constitution, and I've heard them, thought them, dreamed them many times, and so have you. That's why you're here tonight. That's why you're citizens who are concerned about your county. But we all know that just as the 10 Commandments and the Golden Rule will not get the streets clean, will not get the jails empty, will not give the people something to brag about on a parade day, we all know that there are other rules. They're called statutes. they govern litigation. It's on the basis of some pretty obvious statutes that Judge Peebles threw down this month's worth of work from County Attorney and Clyde Eccles, representative of the people of Texas, and said, several allegations are said to have taken place in the year 2005. These cannot be a basis for removal in 2009. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Utley?
I still come back to accountability. Yes, you could have had a bond election. And Mr. Kendall, for some reason, doesn't go back and read the budget that was accepted. We have a $1.2 million unencumbered funds after the budget is over. That's all the surplus you have left. Kind of speaks for itself.
Thank you. Go on to the next question. Mr. Kendall? Got another long one for you. I did write these guys.
I thought we could just stop at 8:30, Scott.
My bedtime.
They don't let you. You're on their time tonight, guys. Okay. The current estimated cost of the annex building is $3.6 million, not including the additional cost of a parking lot and courtroom. Given the financial crisis faced by the county, do you support going forward with the building or reevaluating our options? What, if any, would you do differently? Mr. Kendall.
Excuse me, before you begin. Doctor, if you would have a manipulation of the temporomandibular joint, I could have understood what you said. You said parking and then quarters?
Cost of parking lot and courtroom.
Quarter.
Let me read it again.
No, they'll give it, it's just right here and it just needs to.
I'll talk to you later. You and I'll go someplace later, okay? We'll go down that dirt road, we'll just shuffle together, okay? If I got a dirt road too, we'll talk about it. But I like that rain, man. Let me have a little sun in between, just a little bit. Let me get some more rain. Keep it up. The current estimated cost of the annex building is $3.6 million, not including the additional cost of a parking lot and courtroom. Given the financial crisis faced by the county, do you support going forward with the building or reevaluating our options? What, if anything, would you do differently?
Well, certainly, what is set out here is what I have voted for. The $3.6 million does include a contingency fee, not fee, contingency sum in the contract, which there is and someone may have mentioned a while ago, what is called an area of that building is what is called a shell. In other words, it was built, it's going to be built, floors and all, and plugs and only not finished out. In talking to the architects and the contractors, the contingency fee more than about 3 times as much as what it will take to make that shell into a courtroom, a very usable courtroom. The courtroom that was originally designed, or multi-purpose room, not a courtroom, but would have cost over $600,000. This, using the shell, is going to cost somewhere around $20,000, $25,000 and this money is in the budget for the $3.6 million that can, as a contingency fee, in other words, a change order, and it is more than enough to cover the amount of finishing out what has been named or called a shell to have a courtroom in it. It'll have an office for the judge, for the district judge. It'll have an office. It'll have a jury room. It'll have a bench and all of the matters that a courtroom will need to have. And it will be, again, it's not going to be $600,000. It's going to be around $20,000, $25,000. Would I do anything different? No. What has been done so far is what I would have, what I have voted for. It is clear that I support this building.
Mr. Kendall.